Happy Friday. Oh, it is. It is. Friday episode. You can tell voice cracked a little bit there. I'm ready for the weekend. I've been talking way too much this week. It is a Friday episode of Donno Daily here on the 5 Reasons Sports Network. I am Alex Donno, taking you for the next hour or so, probably a little bit over an hour. One of our guests today, we have two guests coming up on this episode. One of them is a diva. One of them is not. Joe Frisaro, who's going to join us at 2:15, not a diva. He's going to help us preview Marlins opening day. Hussam Patel, diva. He's going to be joining us somewhere between 2:30 to 2:45. This egomaniac, Hussam Patel, didn't want me to even start the episode until he was ready to come on. Hussam, I go on my time, not your time, brother. You'll be lucky if we keep the stream going for long enough to get some of your Dolphins hot takes in there. So at some point, whenever he decides he's ready to grace us with his presence, Hussam Patel is going to join us to talk some Dolphins. We're going to be talking some Marlins with Joe Frisaro from Man on Second Baseball, which is a proud partner of 5 Reasons Sports Network in a little bit. Man, the live chat's already slow. I know I didn't have a show yesterday. I had some stuff to take care of at home. I did have 5 rounds last night. I skip a Donno Daily, and now nobody wants to talk. Okay, finally, they're starting to come in. Hello, John Alvarez. Okay, so I'm happy to have you on live. It sounds like he's probably someone who usually watches replays. Happy to see you live. Happy to have the live chat. Shake Money, hello. Thank you as well. Shake Money, of course, he prays at the Church of 5 Reasons Sports YouTube every single day. I see this guy in here all the time. And to John and Shake, and anyone else out there watching this, whether you're watching it live at 2:01 p.m., April the 8th, year of our Lord, 2022, or you're watching it later via replay like John usually does, smash the like button. Hit that thumbs up button and make sure you are subscribing to 5 Reasons YouTube. Brooklyn Rob says, more vacation days than Neil Rogers. Here's the thing, though, Brooklyn Rob. If I'm not here at 2 p.m., I'm probably doing some other kind of work most days. That's the thing. It's like, I don't really take any days off. I just take shows off here and there. Like, I didn't do Donno Daily yesterday, but I did Locked On Canes yesterday. I put out an episode 5 days a week on the Locked On Podcast Network. I did 5 rounds last night. I was on filling in for Joe Rose. I was on with Zach Krantz this morning, 6 to 10. That was a lot of fun. I woke up very, very early. So, guys, this is going to be one of those days. We get these every now and then. I am so caffeinated. I cannot be held accountable for anything I say on this episode. Only the smart things I say. If I say anything really ridiculous, stupid, or God forbid, cancelable, like if SJWs, if you want to come after me and cancel me, I cannot be held accountable for anything ridiculous, fireable, or cancelable that I say on this episode. Hello to all the Dolphins out there. And yeah, be like Chris, the Fins tailgate. Hit that like button, my friends, and make sure you support our awesome sponsors. And guys, Major League Baseball opened yesterday. The Masters round 1 yesterday. Our guy Tiger, 13 months after his accident, is making himself relevant again. Guys, make sure you are utilizing, with all the baseball going on, all the golf going on, NBA playoffs coming up, make sure you guys are taking advantage of our official fantasy sports partner, and that is Prize Picks. PrizePicks.com or the Prize Picks mobile app. They have so many awesome daily games, and it's you versus the numbers. This is the best daily fantasy service I've ever used. Make sure you sign up with our code 5. For those who may forget, hold on, I have it for you. The Prize Picks code is 5, F-I-V-E. Spell it out, and if you use our code 5, they're going to give you a 100% match on your first deposit up to $100. So take advantage of Prize Picks because it's especially fun with baseball games just left and right all over the place. Prize Picks truly is daily fantasy simplified. And yeah, we have a UFC pay-per-view fight as well. For those of you who didn't see it, I highly recommend going to 5 Reasons YouTube and watching the 5 rounds MMA episode that Frank Zaffrey, James Walker, and I did last night, because we had on my guy Lee Sterling from ParamountSports.com, and we went through the entire main card plus a couple of the prelims, and he's got your bets for you, my friends. I saw our guy Doug was in there yesterday. Doug knows what I'm talking about. Hello, Dougie Fresh. So we have a couple Dolphins notes to get to before Joe Frisaro joins us to talk some Marlins. And then we'll talk more Dolphins after that with Hussam Patel. Barry Jackson tweeted something out today that made me sad. Made me very, very sad. And this has been confirmed by multiple news outlets now. The Miami Dolphins are signing punter Thomas Morstead. He averaged 47.2 yards on 45 punts in 14 games for the Jets and Falcons last season, which ranked 9th in the league. So top half of the league. We knew the Dolphins up until a couple of hours ago did not have a punter on the roster. They have signed veteran Thomas Morstead. Why this makes me sad is Dolphins, football gods, draft gods, Chris Grier, hear my prayers. Signing Thomas Morstead, that better not mean you guys are taking yourselves out of the Matt Ariza draft sweepstakes. I want that rookie so bad. I want Ariza so bad. The punter he's got a Herculean leg out of San Diego State. I just read you the numbers by Thomas Morstead. He averages 47.2 yards per punt. Thomas Morstead can do that with his left leg, and he's a right-legged punter. Like Morstead, 47.2 yards. That's only when Ariza only does 47.2 yards if he's doing it on purpose to try to like find the corner of like the pylon or something to get it out of the 1 yard line. He averages like 52 point something yards per punt in college. I know, but I think that translates pretty well. So yeah, the Dolphins have signed a punter. It's not the one that I wanted them to draft, about 3 weeks from now. I think the draft is about 3 weeks away, right? Yeah, last week, it was probably 3 weeks from yesterday is when the first round, well, Dolphins don't have a first round pick. You'd be talking about the third or the fourth round pick being used on a punter. Maybe the Dolphins signed a veteran punter because they want to throw the other teams off the scent. They don't want the other teams to know that they're drafting Ariza. Aha. Chris Grier is smarter than I gave him credit for. Shake Money says, I support anything Ethan Skolnick does. That makes two of us. He is one of the few media members I trust. You're awesome too, Donno. Thank you. And thank you for even lumping me into the same sentence as Ethan Skolnick, who is one of the great ones. A couple of other pretty big stories grabbed in headlines today concerning the Miami Dolphins. They're not positive, but, they're not necessarily all of these overwhelmingly negative, depending on how you look at it. I've seen some Dolphins content creators like complaining, oh, Pro Football Talk, they're out to get the Dolphins again. They keep posting these stories that make the Dolphins look bad. They're not literally making up the news. Dan Campbell, who's now the head coach of the Lions, former assistant coach and interim head coach with the Dolphins, when Dan Campbell said what he said, you can't expect them not to write about it. Like, what are you doing, bro? So Dan Campbell, talking to the media in Detroit, told this story that apparently while he was coaching with the Dolphins, which was from 2010 to 2015, there was a certain Dolphins player that he did not name that apparently showed up to work drunk, smelling of alcohol, maybe not drunk, but hungover, smelling of alcohol every single day, but still kicked ass and did well at what he did. Here's the quote from Dan Campbell this is from his time with the Dolphins. I remember I had a guy in Miami. God, he loved ball. Dan Campbell said he was a dynamic football player, but he came in every day just reeking of alcohol. He was probably on a bender for who knows how long, but God, he loved football. He showed up. He didn't have any MAs, which is missed assignments. I didn't know at first what that stood for, but they clarified like MAs. He didn't have any missed assignments. He hustled nonstop. And it's like, you know what? You find a way to make that guy work. Not saying we want those guys, but he loved ball and he had success. And he's still playing today, by the way. So now, okay, I guess this doesn't make the Dolphins look great, but I think that's more about whoever this individual was than it was a reflection on the Dolphins. And I guess the Dolphins didn't need to reprimand this guy or fine him or cut him from the team because despite the fact that he showed up to the facility allegedly every day reeking of alcohol, still kicked ass and got the job done. That, my friends, is what you call a functional drunk. I am not one of those. I'm barely functional sober. So you don't want to see me trying to function in any sort of a work-related environment or fitness-related environment if I've had a few too many. But whoever this player was, and Oh, we've been playing the speculation game. We've been playing the speculation game on who this might be. I mean, we do know of a certain former Miami Dolphins offensive lineman who's had his issues with some demons. Dan Campbell did mention the player that he was talking about is still playing football to this day. Might have been the guy who was named in those Bullygate allegations several years ago. Might have been Richie. I don't want to speculate any more than that. I don't really know if I could see who else it might be. I don't. But man, I guess it shows you. Everybody's guessing in the chat. I mean, just based on the description, I don't know who else it could be. And you know what? The funny thing about being a Dolphins fan is, especially in the age of blogging, social media, because there's a lot of stuff we know about the team now that maybe we would never have known about 25, 30, 40 years ago. Like just hearing some of the stories that Joe Rose tells about what was going on behind the scenes back in his day makes you think, man, if they had the internet back then, we would have been horrified to know some of the things going on behind the scenes. But you consider this Miami Dolphins franchise that has had situations and scandals like Bullygate, like the former offensive line coach who was snorting the white powder off of his desk. Now you're telling me there was a player that was showing up reeking of alcohol every day, but still found a way to function. That's just the Dolphins, baby. Like, I don't know how much else you could say about that. Richie also looks like he smells like alcohol. I feel that's like an old Levitard bit. I remember Dan Levitard did a bit. He's probably redone it over the years, but way back in the day on his radio show, before he was now he's like, I don't know, like the Howard Stern of sports. The guy's everywhere. But I remember he did this bit years ago where players who look like they smell like cigarettes. So we could also do players who look like they reek of alcohol. Now, there's some big stuff regarding Brian Flores. And we put that in the title of the episode. I imagine that's why probably a lot of you are here watching this. So in an amended complaint that was filed yesterday, Miami Dolphins, Brian Flores, former coach Brian Flores, I should say it that way, contends that he documented his concerns. He documented them, he claims, regarding pressure from owner Stephen Ross to lose games in a December 14th, 2019 memo. So this could be the evidence that his lawyers claimed he had, right? You remember when the allegations came out in February, and this is a huge lawsuit, and there's a lot more to it than just the Dolphin-specific stuff, but we care more about the Dolphin-specific stuff than the other stuff because it directly concerns the team that we watch and cheer for. But back when they filed that lawsuit about 2 months ago, his lawyers did say, oh, yeah, we have written proof. We have proof, in their minds anyway, proof that he was essentially bribed or that the owner attempted to bribe him to lose games back in 2019. So he and the Dolphins, by the way, have already turned this memo. So the memo does exist. The Dolphins have confirmed that the memo exists. They've already turned it over to the National Football League. The Dolphins privately acknowledged that the memo was indeed created and submitted to the team. Quote, this letter was proactively provided to the NFL and their investigators by the Dolphins weeks ago. A person involved on behalf of the Dolphins in the investigation regarding the claim that Ross offered Flores $100,000 per each game that the team lost in 2019 told Pro Football Talk. For Flores to bring it up now, he said, seems pretty bizarre, given that the letter actually contradicts his complaint in that he has no evidence of any conversations with Steve, that being Ross, and the letter also makes no mention of money. This just shows how desperate he is to bring up a letter that actually goes against his own position. And I think we've seen this a couple of times from Flores' legal team over the last month or so, that they'll get everybody charged up talking about having like a damning piece of evidence. And they sort of create this expectation like, oh my God, they have something that this might sink the entire franchise. And then what they actually have doesn't quite deliver on the hype that they created for it. You remember the NDA, the non-disparagement agreement, which they talked about, like they made it, they framed it as if Mr. Ross personally handed it to Flores and said, hey, buddy, You know where all the bodies are buried. Make sure you don't tell anybody about it. It was a standard separation agreement was what it was. So yeah, there was a non-disparagement agreement, but it's the same kind of NDA that, any of us who sign a contract for employment probably have something similar, whether you're a freaking accountant or you work at a boatyard or you coach an NFL team. You may have I've had it for companies that I've worked for in the past. And I think this thing is the same sort of deal. So if there's not any actual evidence in this memo, so he wrote a memo to big wigs in the organization, like General Manager Chris Greer and Brandon Shore, who's in the business department there, detailing the pressure that he was feeling to lose games, to tank. I don't know if the word tank was used. I don't think anyone outside of the NFL has actually read exactly what's in this memo, so I don't know what the wording was used. But reportedly, the memo makes no mention of $100,000 bribes. So that's specifically not mentioned in there. And according to that spokesperson, it's also nothing specific in there about Ross telling him any of this personally. So what do they really have? Like, are they building it up to be something that it's not? Because there are different ways to interpret situations. Like, if Brian Flores is using this to try and prove, yeah, they were telling me to lose games on purpose in 2019. Well, if it was just kind of your feeling about the situation and there's no actual evidence in there, I don't know if that's a smoking gun, okay? And again, if there's no actual mention of $100,000 bribes being offered, I don't know how you consider that to be a torpedo that's going to bring down the Stephen Ross ship. I don't know about that. And the other important question here is, and when I was in hosting with Zach Krantz this morning on the Joe Rose Show, we spoke to Mike Florio from ProFootballTalk.com. I know a lot of Dolphin fans don't like him because he's always writing negative stuff about our team. He's a good guy, Florio. And one of the good points that Florio brought up about this is, one thing that they're going to have to figure out here is, what did the Dolphins do with that memo? What did they do about it? Right? So they've admitted Flores sent a memo. As Flores claimed, he sent a memo that has something to do with his pressure that he was feeling to lose games. What did they do after that? Did they ignore it? Did they sweep it under the rug? Did they threaten him in some way? Did they actually meet with him? Did they address it? Did they try to hash it out? I'm sure he's going to use this to try and prove that they created intentionally a hostile working environment for him. Like, basically, he sealed his own fate that, hey, they pressured me to lose games. I didn't want to do it because I'm way too morally incorruptible to do something like that. And that forever damaged, my situation there. And they knew that I wasn't a long-term, possibility to be the head coach for more than a couple more years. It seems like you have to connect a lot of dots to get there. Now, for what it's worth, something that, yeah, this is a good question from TD. And what was in the memo? So, pressure, concerns. Here, TD is what they're alleging was in the memo, with no mention of specific money. Concerns over pressure the head coach received from the owner, Stephen Ross, to lose games. I don't know specifically what that is, but supposedly there was no mention of $100,000 bribes. And the Dolphins say, we turned this over to the league weeks ago. Flores and his legal team are just bringing it up now. Says, nope, you're supposed to hold your most damning info. I wonder if they have something else, TD. And by the way, I love TD. He's getting trashed here by Brooklyn Rob. No Deshaun Watson talk. Well, Deshaun Watson is a Cleveland Brown. We're not worrying about that right now. I didn't get the memo. Oh, man. Finn's Tailgate says, that's what I want to know. Can I see the memo? They may eventually publish it. So hold on. Let me see if I've got something more. Okay, here's another quote about this memo. This letter was, this is what the Dolphins, hold on. I think I already read that about the Dolphins' claim. Yeah, that this letter was proactively provided to the NFL and their investigators by the Dolphins weeks ago. A person involved on behalf of the Dolphins in the investigation regarding the claim that Ross offered Flores $100,000 for each game the team lost in 2019, tells Pro Football Talk. For Flores to bring it up now seems pretty bizarre, given that the letter actually contradicts his complaint in that he has no evidence of any conversations with Steve, and the letter also makes no mention of money. This just shows how desperate he is to bring up a letter that actually goes against his own position. Guys, they released the memo. No music at practice. Now, okay, so I gave you my interpretation of that information. To me, it sounds like they're overselling and under-delivering, talking about Flores' legal team. To be fair, I asked Mike Florio about this today. He has spoken to people close to the investigation, he said. He spoke to someone specifically who's familiar with the internal investigation, that the NFL is currently running an investigation on these claims by Flores against the Dolphins. And Florio told me and Zach Krantz today that there's a feeling that this could get bad for Stephen Ross and that they may end up making an example out of Ross and also an example out of Daniel Snyder, who still technically is in ownership of the whatever the hell they're calling the Washington football team now. I think he's like technically passed the control to his wife. It reminds me a lot of the Donald Sterling thing. You remember that with Donald Sterling before he was forced to sell the team? He's like, don't worry about it, guys. I'm going to let my wife run the team now, and I'm going to have nothing to do with it. Like, it seems like that's what Daniel Snyder is doing right now. That there is a feeling that the NFL maybe, if things get really bad here, could try and force Mr. Ross and Daniel Snyder to give control away from their respective teams. And here's the thing I got to wonder. If this does get really bad, whatever they find in this investigation, listen, I don't know if this is the case, TD, but if it is, I wonder what the consequences are going to be beyond Stephen Ross here. He says Flores already has everything he needs to do to win this lawsuit. So then what happens? If they have something really damning where they can essentially prove Stephen Ross, as we all kind of suspected, and a lot of Dolphin fans didn't have a problem with it because what you wanted to tank for Tua, right? Like a lot of Dolphin fans didn't have a problem with the idea that they might be thinking about losing games on purpose, but you can't be blatant about it. You can't admit you're doing it. And you certainly can't offer bribes to your coach to do it. That's actually illegal. I don't think anyone's going to see any prison time over this, but by the letter of the law, you could see prison time if this can be proven, okay? So if Flores' legal team can reasonably prove that this pressure and this bribery actually existed, how deep does this go? You can imagine if they can prove it, Stephen Ross is forced to sell the team. He's already got a buyer in waiting. His business partner, Bruce Beal, would presumably sell the team to Beal, unless the NFL is so mad they say, you know what? We're not even going to let you sell the team to the guy you want to sell it to, because then you may still be pulling the strings behind the scenes. You got to sell it to somebody else. You can't sell it to someone you have a connection to. Now, at the end of the day, that's a billionaire being forced to sell his team for probably $3+ billion, because I think the Dolphins are valued at $3 billion or more based on all these Forbes estimates and all that. But how many, if any, draft picks do they take away? And I'm just telling you, it would really suck as a Dolphin fan. Something I have no control over. All of you in the live chat, no control over this. Any Dolphin fan who watches this on replay, you love the team. Can you imagine if at the end of the day, the worst thing they can do to the guy who owns the team is force him to sell it for $3 or more billion in liquid cash money? And then it's the fans who have to suffer if they take away multiple draft picks, right? You know how excited I am right now to say, hey, we're going to have multiple first-round picks next year. And if we do have to replace a certain quarterback who, has been busy throwing the medicine ball and throwing these 71-yard alleged passes out at the Perform training grounds, if we do need to move on from that guy, you're going to have the draft ammunition to do it a year from now. What if the NFL takes that away from you? That would be tragic, because then again, it would be the fans that would suffer from that. And yeah, there's no doubt about this, TD. Even the NFLPA already admitted there is an issue with the hiring practices of minorities. That, to me, this whole lawsuit, no matter what the resolution is, I hope that some lasting good comes out of it because the NFL hiring practices are an absolute joke. It's a boys' club, it's a yacht club. I mean, how many pieces of evidence have we now seen, Tennessee being a newer one, where, when a coaching vacancy is created, sometimes even before there's a vacancy, they've already decided who they're going to hire. And if it's a white dude that they want to hire, they're going to conduct this mockery of an interview process and make sure they comply by the Rooney Rule, but they make a mockery of the Rooney Rule. So something's got to change there. There's no question about that. I wonder if we would ever see this. Perfect Q says, I really want Ross to countersue Flores for everything. It's not happening yet. I mean, they've denied, they've denied all these allegations. The NFL even initially dismissed everything before coming back and saying, well, we take it very seriously and we're looking into it. So I don't know about that. Let's see what else we have in the comments coming in. Dennis Ramirez. Flores was okay with the issue as long as he held the position with the Dolphins, but now that he no longer is with the team, he feels a certain way. He wouldn't be the first, guys. We're talking about a human being here. I'm sure there have been others who are in a situation where there's something really shady going on at their job, but they still feel fortunate to have that job. But then when they lose it, that's when you want to blow the whistle. It happens. All right, let's table the Dolphins talk here for a second because we got opening day for our Miami Marlins in a little over 2 hours, 4:35 p.m. in San Francisco. Miami Marlins taking on the San Francisco Giants with Sandy Alcantara on the hill. Joe Frisaro from Man on Second Baseball is with us. Joe, how are you, sir?
Alex, how you doing? Happy opening day 2. Gotta love baseball. 2 opening days. Kind of like football. Remember Thursday, Friday opening day, Thursday opening day, Sunday opening day, Monday night opening day, whatever it is. But we're happy we have an opening day and happy to be on with you. And thanks for having me.
Well, yeah, and speaking of that, the last time we spoke a few weeks ago, it was right after Derek Jeter left the Marlins. And at that time, we didn't have any sort of resolution in terms of when they would start actually playing baseball. So, I mean, at the end of the day, Joe, the season only ended up getting delayed by about a week. So did things play out kind of the way you expected and hoped they would?
As I hoped they would, but not as I expected, because I was expecting much worse when the first week of the season was canceled. And, I think the fact that they salvaged 162 was huge.
Yeah.
And, they got as close to 4 weeks as they could. I'm a little concerned for the players who are in now, the everyday guys, and for our betting fans and fantasy fans and so forth, prop bettors. Keep this in mind. Guys are not conditioned to play 9 innings right now. So you're going to see a lot of substituting. Keep this in mind. Guys may only get 3 at-bats, because guys could be coming out of the game a little bit. Guys may not play 2, 3, 4 days in a row, at least early. So, but yeah, I'm elated though, Alex. I think baseball saved itself from itself because I was this close to jumping off the cliff too and saying the heck with it. But the fact that they resolved it, the fact that to the credit of the players, they came back in, ready to forget what all the ugliness of the offseason and ownership as well, embracing them. So, I was at a lot of spring training this year. So the enthusiasm was genuine. The first day that tickets went on sale for spring games. Now, granted, it was the Cardinals, but they were, a line of 1,000 people. So, you just were wondering how the public would react. I think the Marlins had a game there where they hosted, I think the Astros. It was like 3,500. Now it was a season ticket event, that the Marlins had up there. But so Marlin fans seem excited. It's a good young team. It's built for several years. This isn't a win it all this year thing, but I think the Marlins made a lot of strides, and it should be a lot of fun. Like all of us, we're waiting to see how it looks at 4:30.
Yeah, and first of all, you mentioned opening day was yesterday for the Marlins. It's today. How did you spend your opening day yesterday, Joe? Did you grill any meats? I know you're the big time grill master. How did you celebrate that occasion?
Sadly, no. I'll save it for the weekend. Just really busy, and I was watching the Cubs Brewers because that was the first game on. Yankees Red Sox got rained out. I ended up get my MLB.TV going, humming that up and flipping back and forth. I was watching Bobby Witt Jr. Hey, if you're a baseball fan, know this name, the son of the former pitcher Bobby Witt, Kansas City Royals infielder, number one prospect in baseball. I don't care what anybody else's list has as one. Bobby Witt Jr. is it. Budding superstar. He had the game-winning RBI double. His first big league hit was the go-ahead RBI double. Keep an eye on him. I happened to see him play a few years ago at a perfect game event up in Jupiter. So I was excited to see him. And the beauty of it is, Alex, is you can just kind of zero in on who you want to see. Some of these prospects. And to be honest with you, the minor league season started, and I have my MILB.TV as well. And I was watching the Jacksonville, the Marlins AAA affiliate, play the Red Sox, and the Red Sox prospect Tristan Casas is there from right here, American Heritage in Broward County. I was watching him. Max Meyer pitched great. Marlins, one of their top prospects. And then watching J.J. Bleday, Peyton Burdick hit a bomb of a homer. So I've been watching a lot of baseball, but the beauty of it is I can kind of zero in. I don't have to sit for 9 innings, but I'll sit for 9 innings today. And in the TV in front of me at the corner, which isn't on, I got the Rays game ready to go. They're coming on in a couple of minutes. So that's how a baseball idiot like me spends his day.
I'll tell you, the only problem that I had with opening day yesterday was that dopey Tiger Woods was stealing all the headlines, Joe. I mean, I was like, I was very distracted because I had baseball on the TV. I had, I was watching it. I didn't even really think I was going to watch golf. And then everyone's tweeting about Tiger. So I'm like, all right, let me pull it up on the iPad. I was very distracted. Like, I feel like baseball had their thunder stolen by Tiger Woods.
Well, it wouldn't be the first time someone stole baseball's thunder. But yeah, I mean, the Masters, you had to pick your poison, right? You didn't open when you were hoping to 2 weeks ago or 9 days ago. So you bumped into the Masters. Now, keep this in mind. It's huge for the game that they got it in time for the 75th anniversary of Jackie Robinson. I think that's April 15th. So as long as baseball met that date, because I don't think the players or the owners would want to be responsible for the 75th anniversary of Jackie Robinson breaking the color barrier, that the game was shut down. So baseball scrambled to get a schedule, and they kind of picked it up at where they are. And I think as far as baseball is concerned, it was a win that games are played, games that mattered, and you still have a few days before next week. There'll be a lot of attention. It'll be one of the biggest, sporting events in the sporting industry, because a lot of attention is going to be on the sport that day.
Now, going back to when Derek Jeter left the Marlins, it led to a lot of speculation as to why he decided to do that. And one of the feelings that a lot of fans had, and I dabbled in this thinking a little bit, was, well, he must have decided that they just don't have enough ambition. But then, over the next couple of days, you and some other great reporters who I trust have said, no, the Marlins want to be ambitious. They want to spend. They want to build a team. Do you feel like so far they've been living up to that?
Yes. I think we all would want them to spend more. That's a given. But I think that it was philosophical in terms of control. First of all, Derek had so much control. He had all the control, and just kind of saying, where's this going? Where's the revenue going to come from? I think that they're now, I can't speak, and I don't want to, Derek's not here to defend himself, so I don't want to, take cheap shots or anything. But
he can respond in the comments if he wants to.
He can do that. Derek was nothing but nice to me. But obviously, I think we addressed the timing of it was very curious, which makes you think it was more, than just, they didn't spend as much on a free agent. I think it was, right now I could say this. Kim Ang now is over the baseball operations. Caroline O'Connor is over the business end of it. The blueprint, the playbook is the same. The vision is where Derek was taking it. It's now the execution. And I think you're just going to see a lot more delegation and people kind of doing their thing. And, whatever happened between Bruce Sherman and the owners and Derek, those are the rich and powerful not being able to work out their differences. But I could tell you from what we were dealing with, the rank and file, there's a very sharp vision. I was curious to see how they would address the offense, because Kim, they basically stuck their necks out when Bruce Sherman said we had money and we're going to spend it, and then they didn't spend on Castellanos. and a 5-year, 100 million, 20 million AAV. Why that matters to people is AAV is your average annual value, and that is what goes towards your salary, structure in terms of your luxury tax. So, you could make 5 million this year and 25 million next year. Well, the average is whatever is the average, and not getting Castellanos, which I thought was an affordable contract, made me wonder what. But they kind of recovered with Soler, now 3 years, 36. And, neither one plays center field, so you're dealing with a corner outfielder / DH caliber guy anyway. And they got a productive bat. So she was able to close the deal there. And then I thought Kim gets high marks for you could clearly see as camp went on and Dylan Floro was injured, their projected closer. They needed bullpen help, and they went out and swung the trade with the Orioles without giving up too much of their farm for it. So they got 2 relievers, 1 potential closer in Cole Sulser. And, so they patched up what they needed to. They made a decision to go with more offense in the outfield than defense. So fly balls are going to be an adventure, but they should hopefully score more runs. And like I told someone, it may look like a beer league team out there sometimes in the outfield, but as long as they drive in a few more and they allow, they should be okay.
Now, you mentioned this is more of a long-term vision than short-term. So what do you expect them to compete for this year? Where do you see them in the landscape of the NL East?
Compete for a wild card. I think
Good.
right now, I think on paper, they're probably 4, and that's probably fair. But there's no reason they can't finish 3rd or sneak up on 2nd. The Mets, DeGrom being out, Scherzer's going to go today, but, Max is a bulldog, but at some point, what if it doesn't work out there? The Marlins, Alex, is going to be as far as their starting pitching takes them. We could complain about a center fielder, we can complain about a closer, but if this starting pitching staff does what it's supposed to do, they're contending for a wild card. They're probably the 6th wild card more than the 4th one, but I think that they can realistically be an 84 to 86 win team if they make additions or, meaning a trade at the deadline, bringing somebody in to address whatever need is there. And then maturation and hopefully health for their guys that they could do that, but it's going to all hinge on that starting rotation. I'm concerned about Pablo Lopez. He hadn't looked good. I don't know if the stability in terms of the health of his shoulder is there. He missed a lot of time. I think Trevor Rogers will be fine, although he wasn't as good this spring as last spring, but last spring he was Sandy Koufax. Sandy is Sandy. Jesus Luzardo has a chance, but keep an eye on Edward Cabrera, the prospect who's who will be in AAA. He's going to build up a little more here in Jacksonville for a start or two, but I think Edward could be in the rotation sooner than people think. But I think that rotation is what's going to have to carry him.
Joe Frisaro, by the way, this is the time of year now. Everyone needs to be following Man on Second Baseball. Not that you shouldn't have already been following, but now you really want to dive in. So let people know, Joe, about your platform, Man on Second Baseball, which is a great partner of 5 Reasons Sports, where they can find it and what they can find there.
Yeah, you can follow me just as you see my name there. Just put the Joe Frisaro ads on Twitter, or the Man on Second Man on 2ND. Like you noted, I'm part and happy to be part of the 5 Reasons Sports Network. You'll find our podcast streamed on the Twitter account Man on 2ND, and of course at the YouTube 5 Reasons YouTube. I did Logan Morrison podcast yesterday. That's up there right now to catch up with Logan. And one reason I wanted him was 10 years ago, Marlins Park opened. Now, of course, it's Lone Depot in name, but Logan, played there. And then on top of that, post game tonight after the Marlins game, we're gonna be doing me and my crew. We're gonna be doing a recap of day 1 for the Marlins, and that will drop later tonight on the 5 Reasons YouTube channel. And hopefully a little bit more time as a guest on the Alex Donno show as well.
Of course, man. And we got Hussam Patel just popped in. Hussam,
what's up, Joe?
What's up?
You got any questions for Joe? You got any baseball talk?
Yeah. Are the Marlins ever going to be relevant?
Oh man, you're coming out just throwing 100 at my head, right? Right, the brushback pitch there. I think this is it. This is the year they're gonna be relevant. They're relevant in 2020. Yeah, I see the Dolphins logo in the background, and Are you a Tua guy? Because I'm an Alabama guy, so so we got like Tua and Waddle and get a few more Crimson Tiders here. But
I like you much more than Alex.
Yeah.
I'm not listening. I'm not drinking the Tua Kool-Aid.
Well,
nobody outside of like Hussam's house and a few people in Miami actually think Tua's that great. Like it's
Well, I got to wear the Crimson Tide hat with Tua, so there's going to be the bias there.
No, be honest with me, Joe.
Hold on. The Mac Jones hate, because Mac Jones is really darn good.
Well, I wanted to ask you about that,
really
Joe, because you're a Tua fan, but you look at it from more of the Alabama lens. Like, be honest with me. Who did you think was better at Bama? Was it Tua or Mac Jones?
Oh, it's Mac. I mean, Tua made the heroics against Georgia in the second half, but Mac was like, wow. I mean, that team would just do whatever it needed. His reads, and even with Josh McDaniel, everyone was saying Josh McDaniel made Mac. I think Josh McDaniel held back Mac, from doing some other things. I think they babied him too much. I think he's going to be really good. Not that I'm a Patriots fan. I'm a Mac Jones fan, as I am a Tua fan. But I just think that, get him weapons and you're going to see what happens, because he's just, you hear the Brady thing, but Brady's in a league of his own, and it's unfair to anybody to be there. But he's more that cerebral, but he's got more skills than people know, and he works really hard. Tua, to me, just he'll make great play after great play and then just make the boneheaded play. And that always has kind of been his knock. It's almost like, what are you doing? But then he's dynamic. He'll scramble, he'll make a run or make a miraculous throw. It's just the control that Tua needs. I think he improvises more, and which I think also makes him a little more vulnerable.
So, Hussam, do you still like Joe better than me after what he said about Mac Jones?
It's Friday. It's Ramadan. I'm not trying to let my good deeds get away or be swept under the rug. So I'm staying quiet right now.
He's just sitting around vomiting in his mouth. I know it.
I love what you said
I
there,
have to
Joe.
eat Tic Tacs to swallow the pain away.
No Mac Jones love on your channel. Is that what I hear?
on this show, it's okay. Maybe not on Hussam's show. You can't say anything nice about Mac Jones, but we like to educate people on the truth.
I had Mac Jones as my 5th highest quarterback in the 2020 draft. That's how
he's going to go down as one. He's going to go down as the number one when it's all said and done.
So that was 2021. You mean where did you have Tua Hussam in 2020?
I had him as number 2, right behind Joe Burrow.
So you missed on Herbert then, all right, just like the Dolphins.
Yeah.
Did.
Yeah, it's a tough one. It's a tough one.
This is a segment for the Scouting Combine, which, by the way, is not happening this week because I'm traveling. Surprisingly, my job likes me a bit too much, so they're shipping me out to help other people.
They're shipping you out like one of those packages. He works for Amazon, by the way. So.
Oh, okay. I feel I'm a part owner of Amazon. My wife, especially since the pandemic struck. I think the Amazon guys here as much as I am. It's like, it's just.
And now Joe is getting trash talked by the Peanut Gallery. Again, like these Tua zombies don't want to hear anything nice about Mac Jones. Like, it's crazy because it's not enough for them to say you got to praise our guy. They don't want you to say anything nice about any other quarterback.
I love Tua. We love. What am I saying wrong? They're both better than Jalen Hurts. Does that make you happy?
Okay, fair enough. Well, you don't like Jalen Hurts because he left Alabama.
No, I do. I had to not. He's a great guy. He's a great guy. But he had Devontae Smith and he couldn't find him. It's like, come on. It's like he's open. He's open.
Right
he's
now.
open. But Jalen was a running back who played quarterback.
Yeah, that's true. Well,
he's kind of a little bit better thrower than Tebow.
And I've learned today, despite anything Brooklyn Rob has said, I actually think Joe is very serviceable talking football as well. But Joe, we'll let you run, my friend. Enjoy Marlins opening day today. And by the way, guys, make sure everybody watches. Man on Second is going to have a post-game wrap tonight. It's going to start after the game finishes. I saw scheduled for around 8:30, but I'm sure you'll adapt to whenever you guys are ready to
get on. We keep it short and sweet, but it's going to be good stuff. And
they're again, go thanks. Into the 13th inning, right, Joe? And you'll be
man on second. You got the guy on second now. The game's ending 10 innings now. You got to be pretty bad for it to go on. So, Hussam, great seeing you, buddy.
You too,
go,
Joe.
Go
See you,
Mac,
Joe.
man. I'm gonna get you a Mac Jones shirt for
Oh,
present
brother.
before
That's a
training
good
camp.
gift.
Alex, thanks, buddy.
He's already,
Thanks so much,
he
Joe.
already knows the art of the troll already.
I love him. And I thought about I wasn't thinking of you when I was shopping for this yesterday, but I'm thinking of you now because like I was expecting, it didn't happen, but I was expecting in the late afternoon maybe there'd be a big Bitcoin pump and I would have some expendable money. Didn't happen that way, unfortunately, but I thought, oh, my bags are about to pump. So I go online. I'm like, how much does a Justin Herbert Chargers jersey cost? I was going to buy one for myself and I was going to buy one for Juan Cardona. Like if Bitcoin had pumped to like 60K last night, I would have bought one for me, one for Juan, the two biggest Justin Herbert fans, but it didn't end up going that way. Can you sit tight, Hussam, for 1 second? Because I want to give our sponsor some love before we talk a little Dolphins here. Guys, I want to remind you, every episode of this show is proudly served by our title sponsor, the Quarterdeck Seafood Bar and Neighborhood Grill. It's the weekend. Want to wet my whistle. 2-for-1 happy hour. Bros, I can do a lot of damage when I'm knocking down 6 margaritas for the price of 3. The 2-for-1 happy hour, it's always flowing. It never ends at the Quarterdeck. It's a great place to watch baseball. Guys, throughout the day today, Marlins, all the games on, you can watch them on the big screens, on the TVs covering every wall at the Quarterdeck Seafood Bar and Neighborhood Grill. And guys, tomorrow night, they've got the UFC pay-per-view, UFC 273, 2 title fights, 0 cover charge at the Quarterdeck. If you order that thing from home, they charge you $75. At the Quarterdeck, they don't charge you anything for the pay-per-view. Just go in, enjoy, knock down the 2-for-1 drinks, eat some of that delicious food. I love the All-American burger. I love the jerk chicken sandwich, the French dip sandwich. The seafood is so good, guys. The fresh mahi at the Quarterdeck. I'm telling you, if you haven't been out there or if you want to go for the first time in a long time, maybe the pandemic kind of changed your eating habits and stuff, go check out the Quarterdeck. Follow them online. Visit them on the web. This is where you can find all the locations nearest to you. They're all over Broward County. You can find the full menu on there as well. QuarterdeckRestaurants.com. The Quarterdeck, come for the food, stay for the fun. Guys, we have an official sports book to Baseball Palooza. Betting on baseball. Be like Pete Rose. Bet on baseball at America's favorite sports book, BetUS.com. BetUS.com is the 3-decade leader. Guys, all year long, even before BetUS joined up with us here on this show, I was using their services because they have odds on every sporting event you can imagine. And by the way, they are fully available in Florida. People ask me that all the time. Can I use it in Florida? Yes, you can use it in Florida. Sign up today, BetUS.com. And use our code because we give you the best bonus in the industry, 125%. Use our code 5RSN125, and they're going to give you a 125% sign-up bonus. So if you deposit $100, they're going to give you $125 in free play money. They're more than doubling your deposit, guys. They've got live betting on everything, parlays, props. They even have a full casino on the site. You can play blackjack for real money. I do it all the time. BetUS.com. Use our code 5RSN125 for a 125% sign-up bonus. You bet, you win, you get paid. BetUS.com.
Alex?
Yeah?
When I'm in Miami, we should go over to the Quarterdeck and maybe for a fight night.
We should.
Eat something.
Yeah. It's a good time out there, man. Some of my best memories watching fights or when I do it at the Quarterdeck, because like you're rooting for one, like I've gone there for some Nick Diaz fights. I'm the biggest Nick Diaz fan on the planet. When he was there fighting Anderson Silva, I was out there at the Quarterdeck. Some of these losers were like, let's go Silva. I found this one other dude at the bar who was a big Nick Diaz fan. We bonded for life. We were giving each other high fives. He was robbed by the judges in that fight, of course, but we had a great time out there. So no, we should definitely head out there. So Hussam, there are, and I talked about this in the title of the episode. So Brian Flores, he's got a memo. He sent a memo to Chris Greer, Brandon Shore, other big wigs in the Dolphins organization way back in December of 2019, saying that he feels that he felt pressure, to lose games. Now they're building this memo up like it's a smoking gun, but reportedly there's nothing in the memo about $100,000 bribes. And according to the spokesman from the Dolphins side, He said that there's also no proof in there that Stephen Ross talked to him about it personally. So, I mean, how bad does this look to you? Because do you think there could be something really damning here?
Alex, let me ask you this. How can you prove a conversation actually happened in a court of law?
I don't know. You would have to, if you don't have a witness. Like if you had a witness, maybe somebody else who observed, then you got to take their word.
And look, Brian Flores said that
unless
there
you
were
had
witnesses.
in one of those movies where you're wearing a wire. Like if he had gone in, if he had gone like onto Stephen Ross's yacht, he's like, "Wait, Mr. Ross, can you repeat that one more time? You're going to give me how much
right
money
here,
to lose
into
game?" Yeah, talk into the shirt.
Serious note though, Alex and Brian Flores said that he had a witness or witnesses there in that conversation. Why not bring the witnesses over to corroborate the story? That's where my head is at. Now, obviously, I'm not a legal mind. I'm not a legal scholar, or maybe let's ask a lawyer. We had Alan on. You had Alan on one of those shows. Let's ask him.
Yeah, I got to bring Alan on again. We should do that. We should do that next week.
Yeah, we should definitely do that. But just from I don't know, man. Like you got to think logically about this. If he has a witness, bring that witness along to corroborate the story.
Maybe the witness has been silenced or worse.
Yeah. By the way, I heard you talk to Mike Florio.
I did talk to Mike Florio today.
On the
I love
Joe
Mike
show.
Florio.
and
something,
dude.
no lie. I don't know. Like I would play it here, but I don't know if I'm like allowed to play the audio that's owned by a big corporation. But I was co-hosting the Joe Rose show this morning. It was me and Zach Krantz. I was in for Joe today. And, they bring on Mike Florio on Fridays. I've talked to Florio a few times. I know Dolphin fans hate the guy. I find him to be delightful. And I even told him, I said, Mike, this is how I phrased the question. I'm broadcasting here from Tuanon Central. Like I'm surrounded by Tuanon. They've got my phone lines tapped and everything. I said, I'm not necessarily Tuanon. I'm surrounded by Tuanon down here. And I asked him basically what kind of pressure is Tua under now that he has all these weapons. And actually I thought Mike was he was decent. Like he didn't trash Tua. Like he said, he's got all the tools to succeed now. He did say that obviously there's pressure for him to go out there and actually do it, but he did tell me he thinks Tua can take a step forward. So Florio's not the boogeyman that some Dolphin fans are making him out to be.
You mean Phil Simms? Isn't it Phil Simms the boogeyman?
Phil or Chris?
Oh, Chris.
Yeah.
Chris Simms.
Yeah, I did not speak to. I have not spoken to Chris Simms. I don't think ever. I'm not sure. I don't think I've ever had the pleasure. But I would. Oh, if I ever interview Chris Simms, I will definitely tee him up for Tua talk. There's no doubt about that.
There's I don't know if you saw that Tuanon video or not. That
I played it the other day.
Shaking in his boots the other day. It was basically him talking about. It was like this 2-minute segment in which seltzer. I drank that this morning, by the way. Seltzer water.
Seltzer, very affordable.
Yeah, drank that this morning, by the way. But it's like a 2-minute video. Go on Tuanon's Twitter account real quick. You'll be able to find it. It's probably like pinned or one of the first.
Is it the one from Wednesday? I did play it, but I will be more than happy to play it again.
I think so. And here's the thing which I like about Tuanon. They're donating to charity. And apparently on the Dolphins timeline, many Dolphins fans think that this is a troll account. How can you be a troll account but contribute to charity? Like and people are saying that Tuanon is a joke, that it's non-existent. It's some loser guy trolling on Tua. But in fact, he's contributing to the Dolphins Cancer Challenge. He's giving Dolphins fans tickets to go to the games, and these are Dolphins fans who have never been to Dolphins games either. That one, like, I don't know if you're able to play the tweet or not.
I can't play it. I played it Wednesday and it did work. So hold on, and actually the audio came through well as well. So for those who haven't seen it, not only is the charitable aspect of it very important, but for those of you out there who get very triggered by the anti-Tua rhetoric, because there are a lot of snowflakes out there. You sleep in your Tua bed sheets. You wear your lays everywhere you go. You eat more pineapple. You're very into this Tua. You sometimes go out, on and just randomly try and throw 71 yards to see if you can do what Tua did. And you get very upset when you're watching TV and you see people like Skip Bayless and Mike Florio and Chris Sims have the nerve to question Tua. This gives you the guide on how to handle that, how to respond to it.
Dear Tua brethren, in light of the recent Chris Long feud and some of the other Tua slander done by the fake news sports media, we thought it was a good time to go over some of the ways you can combat the Tua doubters. You can use this as a method to win over new members. First off, you need to discredit the false Tua has a weak arm narrative. Show them the Titans' 50-yard throw to Waddle, the Jets' throw to Holland, the Saints' throw to Holland, and then come with the finishing blow and show them the 70-air-yard throw to Bowden that happened just weeks ago, practicing with quarterback guru Nick Hicks. Next is the narrative that Tua can't lead a team to victory himself. You must show them the 2020 Arizona game where he outduels Kyler Murray. This is the ultimate card to play in an argument. After defeating these two fake narratives, now it is time to play some offense. Attack them with hardcore facts. Point out that Tua is the most accurate quarterback on planet Earth. Tell them about Tua's clutch gene as seen in the Georgia national title game. Show them Tua's gigantic legs in his off-season workout videos. And lastly, point out that Tua was clearly sabotaged by former head coach Brian Flores.
Clearly.
It is well known that Flores went to great lengths to sabotage Tua, such as starting Jesse Davis every game, seeking out other quarterbacks, and having 4 different people calling plays in a season. Tua has overcome this and will show the world how elite he is this season. With all this said, I would like to announce our first ever giveaway. We want to give back to our great and loyal following. We will be giving away a Tua Tagovailoa jersey to a lucky follower. All you have to do is retweet this post and make sure you're following our account. Keep up the good fight, and remember, we are always watching. We are Tua. Expect us.
Expect us, Alex.
I can imagine that there are like actual, because we all have friends that disagree about football teams and quarterbacks. Like there are actually people out there, I'm sure.
I think Tuanon just took over.
I think so too. Oh my God. And we've been listen, you gotta understand this. This is counter globalism right here. You had last year, Jeffrey Epstein's Island, you had Stephen Ross, Brian Flores. They're actually in cahoots. They were meeting on the Epstein Island with George Soros and Hillary Clinton and probably Elon Musk. He may be involved in this. It goes Bilderberg Group goes very deep. They're wearing masks. They're doing special rituals. They're burning babies. It's crazy what's going on here. I lost my train of thought. I don't know where I was going with that. I have no idea where I was going with that. But I imagine Hussam.
We've been hacked, dude. Tunon's back. He wants us back.
So I imagine that there are actual Dolphin fans out there who have watched that Tuanon video, and whenever like they're at a sports bar right now, and somebody correctly is saying, Tua's it's not as good as Justin Herbert. Hold on, have you seen his 71-yard air completion in practice with quarterback guru Nick Hicks, where he threw it to Lynn Bowden? Have you seen the size of Tua's legs? Have you seen his clutch gene in Alabama? If you haven't, I have a video of it to show you. Like,
have you seen his fourth quarter stats, Alex?
Tell me about the first, second, and third quarter stats while you're at it.
Well, fourth quarter is where it matters, right? The game's on the line. That's where you win the game.
It depends on what the score is heading into that, I think, is what it really depends on. Oh my God. But yeah, I've actually I've been in and the thing is, it's great. I don't like being in the position where I have to argue with people against a guy who plays for my team, because at the end of the day, I love the Miami Dolphins and I want Tua to succeed. But I found myself multiple different occasions on the air and off the air arguing with people where I'm pointing out to them, Tua doesn't look as good as Justin Herbert. And the usual thing is,
I've seen those messages. I've seen you get those threats.
It's constant. It's constant. And usually The only argument that, the people arguing Tua, which is insane, like nobody outside of like 30% of Dolphins fans think Tua is better than Justin Herbert. It's just a deranged group of individuals who actually think that's the case.
Speaking of deranged, should I get a Dolphins mask on and put it on and pretend to be Tuanon on the show?
Okay. I will expect you. I will expect
you. Got to get Tuanon back on the show.
But no, but like, and I actually I get into, and I don't like doing this because I don't like arguing against a guy who plays for my team, but I've gotten in arguments with people who claim Tua is absolutely better than Justin Herbert, and all that they have at the end of the day is, well, look at the win-loss record and look at the completion percentage. But like, okay, if you watch the guy play, it's insane. What's up with these guests, Mush? Big John Stud vapes. Hussam is eating. Oh, you guys got to eat. I mean, listen, I'm drinking my seltzer. It's okay for him to eat.
I'm eating a Tic Tac, bro.
Do you really eat? Like, do you chew Tic Tacs or you just like let them dissolve in your mouth?
I do both.
I don't think it's good for your teeth to chew those.
I have perfectly good teeth. I went to the dentist like 2 weeks ago to get a filling.
So right there, that means you don't have perfect teeth. You got a filling. It means you had a cavity, right?
Nice though. Yeah, it was a cavity from like I don't even. It was like in the back end, right to my wisdom teeth. Like that.
Do you still have those? Your wisdom teeth?
Yeah, my jaw is big enough to the point where I don't need them removed.
That's interesting. Yeah, I've got
a big ass mouth.
I got a small jaw. Like from the big mouth that I have, you would never think that. But yeah, I had my when I was like 18, I had all my wisdom teeth removed in one shot. That like they gave me like the laughing, like they didn't put me under, but they gave me like this gas that kind of makes you like a little woozy. Oh, that stuff was fantastic. And this was in 2003. So you still had like CD players. And so they even told me, they're like,
I was 4 back then.
Oh my God, you're making me feel so old. So I remember what they told me back then was, hey, like the procedure, takes about an hour, a little over an hour. Bring your favorite CD in, because nobody downloaded music really. I think it was just kind of starting to be possible to do that back then. So they're like, bring your favorite CD in, and you can listen to this CD while we do your teeth. You're gonna be really out of it from the laughing gas, they called it. And so I brought in my favorite Godsmack CD, which was probably, I don't know, 75 minutes long, 12, 14 tracks, something like that. And I was so woozy from the laughing gas. I remember like I'm listening to the first song on the CD, and then it felt like 10 minutes later, last song of the CD. I'm like, what happened? Like, oh yeah, you've been here for like 70 minutes. Like, I've been here for like 6 minutes. What are you talking about? It's unbelievable.
The song is playing. Yeah, my sister got her wisdom teeth taken out yesterday, and there was a pizza place next to us. So I'm like, you know what? I'll have some New York style pizza. So I have this white cheese pizza and a drink as well. Basically like 2 slices and a drink for like $7.99. Fantastic, man. Fantastic. Felt like I was really in New York without ever actually being in New York.
Okay.
I still haven't been to New York, so I want to try real, authentic New York style pizza. But Alex, before we end it off, what did you think about Xavier Howard and Emmanuel Ogba's comments about it being more fun and more energetic with Mike McDaniel? Like, what does that tell you?
I'm glad you went there. It tells me that clearly the environment under Brian Flores wasn't fun, because these guys are smart enough to know that if you're going to say that, they're like, oh, look, it's really fun here now, that everyone's going to draw the conclusion. So it must not have been very fun before, that the atmosphere is so much better now. So that tells me that just the way business is done at that facility, and listen, it's off-season workouts. Like, we haven't even gotten to mini camps and training camp yet, but still, like, they can already feel the different vibes. So clearly it's complimentary of McDaniel. I also take it to be detrimental to flow. And I'm actually surprised that the 2 guys you mentioned were the ones to say that, because I had always kind of thought the defensive guys really had Flow's back, right?
Yeah.
I thought it was more the offense. Like, especially Xavier. Like, I thought Xavier Howard was like, really attached to Flow. So I'm actually surprised he would say something that can even be interpreted to being like detrimental to Flores.
And Emmanuel Ogba said the same. Xavier Howard said the same. And after Flores got fired, it was mostly the offensive guys coming out saying it too.
Exactly.
And Lynn Bowden took a shot too. on a tweet, I believe it was yesterday or the day before, about not letting egos get in the way because he was put on IR for the rest of the season, couldn't play at all. And then people were saying, where are the defensive guys? Why aren't the defensive guys coming out? They're like, oh, yeah, we'll miss you, Flo, blah, blah, blah. Now you get this dropped on. You're like, was Flo really, like this? Or maybe the players are just listening to public relations and just trying to move past all this and uplift their new head coach?
It could be a little bit of that. Now, another thing is, I just want to make this clear, having fun vibes around the facility, that's not everything. So let me say this. Let me say this in Flores' defense. Okay, I know the Gen Zs out there. They want to feel coddled and loved and nurtured everywhere they go. It's a results-driven business at the end of the day. Like I don't think too many players inside the Patriots facility are bragging about, playing for Bell. It's fantastic. Oh, this is such a great atmosphere. We love it here in the facility. So that doesn't really matter. But there's more than one way to win in this league. Okay, and if you can actually win for a coach who also creates a fun environment, which is what I'm hoping Mike McDaniel can do, that's even better. Like if I'm going to win either way, I'd rather win for somebody who I love playing for than somebody who I can't stand. So hopefully it works out.
Yeah, and Mike McDaniel said it too. If we start losing, it's not going to be fun anymore, of course, and it's going to be on him to fix it, to get everything. And he knows the nature of this business. The guys know the nature of the business too, and it's just like, after everything that went on, you hear a lot of these reports coming in late.
Yeah. By the way, somebody had mentioned this in the chat. I don't know enough about this, but is it okay for you to be eating during Ramadan, or do Tic Tacs not count?
Oh, I can't fast because I got a medical issue. So,
okay,
yeah.
Fair enough.
Very valid question, though.
Yeah, because you had mentioned at the top of when you joined in something about Ramadan, and then of course you can't put anything past Brooklyn Rob.
Tony 2 times. Yeah.
Tony. It was Tony who did. I thought it was Brooklyn Rob who called you. I think Brooklyn Rob piled on, but Tony 2 times was the one who called you out. Oh man. So I love it. Hussam, let people. You mentioned you're not having the scouting combine show this week because you're traveling, but where else do people find you? Because it's easier for you to list it because you work for every outlet, as I do. I work for a ton of outlets as well, but you work for every outlet on the internet.
Right there, my Twitter account. Oh, go on your Twitter, find my latest video, and then scroll down. You'll find my brand new TikTok account.
Oh, you got to show me how to do that TikTok.
Put it on screen. Oh, hold on, man. You know how to do it now.
So that's on. Okay, so hold on. The other problem I have is that when I have multiple tabs open with the StreamYard, it makes everything go so slow. So okay, Hussam Patel. Let me pull up your profile, then let me share the screen, and you can show me what I'm looking for here. This is how a boomer pulls up screen share.
Okay, boomer. Let me see that video.
All right, so I got Hussam here. All right, so where do I find this TikTok?
Go to media.
Media, okay. Is this it?
There it is. Yeah.
Okay, hold on. Let me play this.
That's my second video.
Okay. You want me to play this one?
Yeah, go ahead. Why not?
Okay, let's see.
Yes! 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 Yes!
That's pretty good.
Yes!
And that was actually Jim Carrey's voiceover too for Ace
Ventura. So that makes it even better.
Yeah, go back up. There's a go up right there.
This one?
That one.
Okay.
That one.
All right, let's see.
You hear it, listen. It's what you hear it, listen. X gon' give it to you. Nice. You to get it on your own. X gon' deliver to you.
These guys are basically teammates now.
Go ahead. I couldn't hear you because it was the TikTok.
Those two guys are now teammates too.
Yeah.
And X said it. He's got to get his hamstrings in order. And it's going to be fun going up against a top wide receiver, speedy guy. It's only going to help the rest of this defensive back group too. How to deal with fast guys. How to be more agile. TikTok there we go, Tony. Tony 2 times with the title TikTok of Tic Tacs. That's what we call
He's on
alliteration
fire
in this
today. He's
business.
the Ramadan police, and he's got witty remarks about Tic Tacs.
Exactly.
He's on fire today.
Exactly. He's on fire today, man. I give you one of the red Tic Tacs from here because you're on fire.
Thank you. On the way out here, you watching outside of sports? You watching any TV shows?
Yes. I started watching Top Boy on Netflix.
I never even heard of that. What is Top Boy?
So, okay, the premise is basically it's a crime / drug show about gangs in London, and there's this guy who's gunning to be quote unquote top boy, basically
It sounds just like Peaky Blinders. Is this a Peaky Blinders ripoff?
I don't know. I've never watched Peaky Blinders.
The Peaky Blinders is good, but if I like that, I'll probably like Top Boy too.
Yeah, you'll like Top Boy. It's basically Top Boy. The term Top Boy basically means like the head drug dealer, like the number one drug dealer in the land.
I found I like shows about drug dealers. Like there's a lot of good drug dealer
Yeah.
shows. Like Breaking Bad was incredible. I like the Italian show that's now on HBO Max, Gomorrah, which is about like the mob in Naples, Italy, and there's a lot of drugs with that stuff too. So like I can't help it. There's a lot of good shows about drug
It's
dealers.
good too. This Top Boy is actually emotional, and it shows you the impact of lives on different families as well.
Oh.
And I've actually started Von 954. I've actually started implementing some of their lingo into what I say. Like I start saying man damn or and start kissing my teeth, like doing all of that stuff. Saying wagwan Donno, wagwan. How are we doing today?
Oh, that's like a. They also use that in Jamaica. I think.
Yeah,
I remember when I was down in Jamaica, like like the bus driver who drove us like from the airport to the hotel was teaching us the Jamaican slang, or like the patois, and that was one of the things he taught me was wagwan, and I was saying it the whole week. Wagwan. I forgot what it means.
It's just like, hey man, what's
Yeah,
going
right.
on? Yeah,
Right.
that's all it is.
I love it.
Wagwan.
I actually just started watching today while I was eating my lunch. You ever heard of? And I'm only one episode in, so I can't even really tell you for sure if it's a good show or just an okay show. But The Flight Attendant with Kaylee Cuoco on HBO Max, it's pretty interesting. Like there's she's a basically kind of a slutty flight attendant who finds herself in a situation where there is a dead body.
Oh,
and we got to figure out how that happened and what she may or may not have had to do with it. And then, it's a good first episode. So I'm looking forward to seeing where it goes from there.
Crime shows, man. Why do we like crime shows, man? It's just the thing with us too. I don't know why. I like crime shows. I like drug shows as well.
But like most of like the serious shows are about crime, right?
Yeah.
Like I don't know. Like there's a few like I
It's
like.
it's been. Do you feel like it's been glorified to an extent? Maybe.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. Well, and you know where that started? Tony Soprano. Like that was the big.
I have
wasn't
to watch The Sopranos.
Yeah, like I don't think he was like the first anti-hero ever, but he made anti-heroes cool. They're like, oh, this guy, because normally if you made a TV show about a crime family and a mob boss, that was probably the bad guy, like not the good guy. But like, Tony Soprano's the good. It turns your whole world upside down because you rooted for the guy. Like I rooted for Tony over the feds always.
Yeah,
they blurred the lines of morality.
And same thing with Tout Boy. You're like, who do I root for between these two gangs? Do I root for, one gang member or the other one, and like what's going on within the gangs, the dynamic of the gangs as well? You're like, people are starting to turn on each other. You're like, oh, this is getting good.
I love it. We'll close on that note in a moment. But what do you think about this? I feel personally attacked by this from Raul. You can, because I say this every episode of every show I do. You could spot it to a hater when they say, I want the kid to succeed. It's like when you say, I want to win the lotto, but you don't play. It's obvious they don't really believe it. It's okay. I can't speak for everybody. I can't. But I mean it. Like, I really want him to succeed because I'm a Dolphins fan. I'm not the type of fan. Like, I didn't even root for tanking.
I think you just want him to prove you wrong, Donald. That's the thing with you. I think you want him to prove you wrong, which is a faction of the Tua haters. There's other factions that just straight up don't want him. Like I saw in the comments, TD Fence talk. I have my reservations about
I like
him and his opinions as well. But yeah, good guy. There's others who completely don't want him at all. Like at all. There's others who would take Tyler Van Dyke over him. There's a big
I would.
See? I knew that.
I would take
I knew
Tua.
that would happen.
I would take Tua over Zach Wilson, and God,
wow, that's
probably
it,
Davis
huh?
Mills. I would take Tua, even though they had identical stats
There's
last year.
actually a faction that would take Davis Mills over Tua as well. Small faction.
Well,
but
it's a troll because
yeah.
if you cherry pick like certain stats, they were identical to each other. But I'm not stupid. Like I watch football. I know Tua has a lot more upside than Davis Mills. Like I'm not an idiot. Like, and I think there are idiots on both sides. Like people who pretend that Davis, he's losing cred, likes pineapple on pizza, doesn't watch The Sopranos. Like people who pretend that Davis Mills is better than Tua, it's stupid. And and there are other certain like Tua fans who think he's better than like quarterbacks that are clearly better than him. I don't know if they're actually watching football. Some of these people. Oh yeah, and you're right, Rob. I would take Tua over Mitch Trubisky and Daniel Jones. I don't even have to think about it.
I was actually in a Spaces last week, and they were talking about Tua Tagovailoa after the Tyreek Hill trade, and I was listening into it, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's basically like Max. It was like the type of talk and narrative you hear from Stephen A. Smith, Max Kellerman, Skip Bayless, those kinds of things. Because now I feel like sports talk has turned into all this narrative bullshit. All right, and I was listening in, and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna speak to requests, right? They're talking about how Tua's a horrible quarterback. He's never gonna succeed. Then I came in, right, and I'm like, you know what? I came into the mindset of saying, you know what? I'm going to shut these people up. And I should have taken a recording of this, man. You would have learned. You would have loved to learn what I just dropped on all of them, and you would have loved to hear what I said. But I went on a whole 16-minute heater, bro.
Oh
I went on a 16-minute heater just explaining to them why they were thinking what they were thinking, brought up advanced stats like the nerd I am, brought up the offensive line, of course, the weapons, the receivers, the statistics, and the game film as well. And if you've ever been in these spaces, Alex, you know nobody could ever actually be quiet and listen to the speaker.
I hate spaces so much. I think maybe it's because
of the reason of that, because nobody can shut up and you can never get your point across.
Yeah.
But this was actually the very first spaces I was in where I was talking. Again, I told you, a 16-minute heater of me just talking and people asking me questions once I finished talking. And it's like I changed their mindset all of a sudden. And then when I left, they were talking about if Mac Jones or Tua Tagovailoa was better, kind of like how we did earlier.
And honestly, I think Tua is better than Mac Jones as well. Like, am I still? I just named a bunch of quarterbacks I think Tua is better than. So you guys can call me a hater if you want to.
It's. Do you feel like sports talk and sports shows have gone towards this narrative path where you can never have a civil, logical, factual discussion about things?
Yes, I have, and also, and I do want to. We got in a couple of super chats today. I want to shout them out. He says, "Howdy, Donno. Disturbing video from that dude in the dolphin outfit earlier. Yikes! Thank you so much for the donation. Oh, I want to pull up.
What if it was me in that dolphin suit?
Then I would tell you to get a life." Devin Jordan, thank you so much as well. I meant to, and Devin, I hope you're still in here because I think I was right in the middle of something when you sent that in earlier, so I didn't shout it out right away, but I knew I was going to circle back to it. Thank you so much for the super chat donation. I appreciate it. But yeah, listen, hold on. AB says, of course, Tua, little backup Mac Jones, not better than Tua. Now, I do think Mac Jones had a better season than Tua ever had at Alabama. But that doesn't mean I think he's a better quarterback. Like, I think Tua is the better quarterback, but I think Mac Jones in that 1 year had maybe the best quarterbacking history in Alabama, at least in the modern era. I can't speak for like the 60s and 70s, but it may have been one of the best quarterbacking seasons in Alabama football history. That doesn't mean he's the better player. So you're not allowed to wear the Dolphin suit during Ramadan. How long does Ramadan last? Is that like a 40-day deal?
Oh man, bro, I got to give you a whole entire lecture.
Yeah, I don't know much about it. And it's at like different times every year. Like, I never know when it's coming.
Okay, so the Islamic calendar is not like the Gregorian calendar. It follows the moon and its lunar cycle.
Okay.
So it's about 28, 29 days depending on the moon. Now, the Islamic calendar, it counts the years, I believe, after Prophet Muhammad's death, I believe. Please correct me if I'm wrong, anybody, because I really don't want to be wrong. So it counts the years after that. So we're in the year 1459 or 1460, one of those years. And basically Ramadan, it's 30 days of fasting based on the and it's based on the moon cycle as well. So it's usually the third, fourth, or fifth. I'm not that knowledgeable on it, but it's one of the like third, fourth, or fifth months of the year, of the Islamic New Year. So you fast within that 30 days, and it's actually one of the holiest months as well, because that's when the religious book was given out to the prophet. That was when most of the sermons happened, and it's kind of like Lent, where in reality it's like a religious time period for everybody, right? So you fast, and fasting is a form of sacrifice. It shows you the pleasantries of these worlds. The pleasantries of these worlds are so little. And think about this, Alex. You haven't ate in 10 hours, right?
Yeah.
And then once you get home, whatever, you eat like rice and chicken, and your stomach is full, and it takes you 2 minutes. It kind of shows you that in this world, in this life that you are right now, the pleasantries on a day-to-day basis, the materialistic shit, is bullshit compared to what you need to fulfill your soul, things like that. You can go on Wikipedia to get a better explanation.
No, I think that's cool, and I think that, like, I'm big into personal discipline with stuff like that as well. Like, I've recently lost about 50 pounds, and it's just and part of that was I need to make myself a little bit miserable and enjoy it. So that wasn't like, it wasn't for spiritual reasons I was doing that. It was for health reasons. But like, if I'm going to stop being a lazy ass and like eating everything in sight, I'm actually going to have to make myself suffer a little bit, because I think a lot of people out there who are like, wanting to lose weight or saying they want to, but they don't really want to do it. They're like, oh, let me find a diet where I can cheat all the time and I can eat bacon all that I want to. It's like, yeah, so it's a whole thing. I mean,
for Chimaev, here's the thing. So for fasting,
is he fasting?
So I believe he is Muslim, and usually
athletes
like Kyrie Irving, Jaylen Brown, they all fast, and the fast lasts from sunrise to sunset, and it's dependent on time zones as well as dependent on the sun, whenever the sun rises and whenever the sun sets. So think about like in a northern country, like let's say, I'm going to say in Antarctica, for example, it's a 22-hour day. It's a 22-hour day in the summer months, right?
Yeah.
In the summer months, they only have 2 real hours of darkness. So you fast for 22 hours.
So you want to live as close to you want to live as close to the equator as possible, is what you're saying.
Yes, but again, remember, Ramadan is not like the Islamic calendar is not like the Gregorian calendar, where it's set in bases, and Ramadan actually moves up. So I believe like last year, 2 years ago, it actually started during the draft process.
Oh.
Right? 5 years ago, it was in the summer in like July.
Yeah.
Right? 5 years from now, it's going to be in January during the winter months. And in 2030, there's going to be 2 Ramadans in 1 year. in one Gregorian calendar year. Yep.
And you know what? I got to say this. The Gregorian calendar, to me, I think it's bullshit. Because,
Why is that?
well, first of all, there's like an extra quarter of a day. They
Yeah.
don't know what to do with it. So they're like, okay, every 4 years, we're just going to have another day. Doesn't make any fucking sense, this Gregorian calendar. Like, honestly, what year is it really? It might be 1492 or whatever you said it was, like in the Muslim calendar. Like, is it really 2022 right now? Because
It's
we've got this extra.
It's 1443.
14. I'm going to go by that it's 1443 because is it really 2022 when we have an extra quarter of a year that we just don't know what to do with?
So here it is. The Islamic calendar runs from August 10th, 2021 to July 28th, 2022. And with Jumeirah, and especially these athletes who are fasting and who are Muslim, they actually have a specific nutrition plan that their trainers give them. Yes, they fast, but after their fast, they're given their nutritional plan, their smoothies, their proteins, whatever it is, and they still train during this fasting process. Like, I have friends who go to the gym and they're fasting. Like, I have coworkers who would work in warehouses 8 hours, 9 hours. And my dad too used to work in a warehouse while he was fasting with no AC in the summer months, no water, no food, praying 5 times a day with grueling physical and manual labor. Like, it is intense, dude. It is very disciplined.
Wow. I don't have anything to add to that. We'll wrap up on that note. Huge shout out and thank you to Hussam Patel. Huge thank you to Joe Frisaro. Marlins are a little over an hour from starting up their season. Want to remind you guys, heading into the weekend, I can't think of a better spot to break your fast if you're not fasting, because I don't think we can break the Ramadan fast yet. But if you want to just drink and eat a little bit, enjoy some great sports, UFC pay-per-view tomorrow for zero cover charge at the Quarterdeck Seafood Bar and Neighborhood Grill. Visit their website, quarterdeckrestaurants.com. Guys, if you want to bet on all the baseball and bet on the fights tomorrow night, betus.com. Full service online sportsbook, fully available in Florida. I've converted so many to betus.com, and I'm so happy. And every now and then people ask me, like, hey, can I do that in Florida? Yeah, you can. And make sure you sign up with our code 5RSN125. Guys, it's like being in Vegas. You can bet before the games, spreads, money lines, props. You can even bet during the games because they have live betting. So, you're watching a fight, for example, and your guy's getting their ass kicked. You may want to hedge that, live bet on the other guy, or live bet an under and over. There's so much you can do. Full casino as well. Sign up with our code 5RSN125. That's 5RSN125. They're going to give you a 125% sign-up bonus. You bet, you win, you get paid. betus.com. I don't know if I have time to shout out everybody because I do have to run, but I shouted out the super chats, pulled up a lot of messages. ABAB, thank you so much. Or Ab, I don't know how to say that properly. Brooklyn Rob, thank you. Tony 2 times. I think he's the MVP of the chat today. This guy was throwing fastballs. I love it. Ray Grullon, thank you for the super chat. Devin Jordan gave us a super chat as well. Vaughn 954. I saw Doug E. Fresh in there as well. Benton, and I think he loved that video from Tuanon. I think that's what he was talking about when he said this is epic. So he enjoyed that. Tony 2 times says this is a legit psyop. I love it. Dennis, I saw a lot of kind words from Dennis in the chat. I appreciate you, sir. So I think that'll do it. Martina. Hello, Martina. Hello, John. And TD Finstock got everybody riled up in the chat. I like TD. He's a little bit of a rattler, but I like that a lot. And going back real quick to something you were talking, Hussam, about negative narratives. Strong opinions are always something that they encourage you to do, like in media, to try to move the needle, positive or negative. But I think the negative stuff generates even more. And it's unfortunate. It's why, like, people get so mad on Twitter and Facebook. And you notice if you're on Facebook, for example, and you see like one of your friends or distant relatives posted something about how beautiful it is outside, maybe a few responses. They post something political and it's like 300 comments on a thread because negativity gets people riled up. It's an algorithm. Like Google Amazon, they're all sorry to throw Amazon in there. They're all, they're mining our thoughts, and they have figured out how to push people's buttons. ESPN, same thing. It's just how we roll. Negativity
runs the world, Alex.
Listen, I got to tell you, I don't.
And I'm positive. And guess what? The world is stupid.
Yep.
That's my opinion. That's my negative opinion of the day.
Well, now that you've insulted an entire planet full of people, we are going to wrap it up.
We've insulted the Gregorian calendar. We've insulted Mother Earth. What else is next?
You know what else sucks? The fact that we don't use the metric system here. It makes no sense.
I don't know how I feel about the metric system, man.
I love the metric system. If it's 0 degrees, frozen. 100 degrees, boiling. Right? None of our stuff makes any sense. Everything in the metric system, multiples of 10, 100,000. Our system is pure chaos, and we're the only country in the world, the only civilized country that still uses it.
And you know what? We're unhinged because of it.
Yeah?
Don't you like being a little bit unhinged, though?
No, I like being hinged.
Okay. You're hinged up to a door with the nails on the bolts.
Yeah, I am hinged. There needs to be some kind of order in the world. All right, we will talk to you guys again on Monday, 2 p.m. Another episode of Donno Daily on the 5 Reasons Sports Network. See ya. I don't know why the app did this.